Good afternoon, everybody. Yes, this is Law 2020, brought to you by your friends at the offices of the BCN law firm. That is Boyette, Cummins, and Nalos, BCN. You can always contact the BCN law firm at 855-LAW-2020, 855-LAW-2020. That translates when you're putting it into your phone at 855-529-2020. And, of course, if you want to follow the BCN Law Firm, their videos, including all the shows they've done here at News 96.5, are carried on the YouTube. And you go to YouTube, and where it has that little magnifying glass at the top, just put in BCN Law Channel. BCN Law Channel. All right. Offices, Winter Park, Claremont, Lakeland, the Villages on 466. You don't have to go through a gate to get there. And, you know, oftentimes what they do at the BCN Law Firm is they want you to know how community-minded they are, but they want you to know that they're more than just a law firm. They are your neighbors. They're community leaders. They want to help you with this program, get as many resources as you can, and that's why oftentimes on this show you'll hear people from other businesses that may be professionally associated with BCN but are not part of BCN. And I think everybody in this listening audience has heard or seen signs for or read articles about or even seen their buildings for Ameriprise Financial. Wes Reed is with us. He's been here before. When you hear Wes talk, you're going to know that he belongs in radio. This guy's got the pipes, I'm telling you right now. So tell us about Ameriprise. What does Ameriprise Financial do?
Oh, thanks, Rob. It is great to be back here. The biggest thing, obviously, is comprehensive financial planning, and we wrap that up into what we have called our confident retirement approach. And that is starting with a base of covering essentials, moving into ensuring your lifestyle, preparing for the unexpected, and leaving a legacy. And we help clients achieve a more confident retirement through navigating the certainties of uncertainty, if you will.
And right now, we're looking at a situation. Talk about uncertainty.
Sure.
We're looking at a situation right now where the world's in a little bit of a boiling state. You've got the rumors coming around about maybe the Fed's going to move in the fall. You might see what the market's going to do then. We're already seeing mortgage rates starting to fluctuate a little bit. And in the real estate industry, you're going to start seeing some changes there. Will your lender be ready to move from a refi mode to a purchase mode? There's a lot of things happening in the economy right now, and you need somebody to help you with it. I don't see how anybody on their own could keep up with the finances without somebody to help them.
Well, you can't, Rob. That's exactly right. There's so many things going on. There are so many moving parts to the whole thing. And that's one of the reasons why, at least at my practice, we partner so well with the BCN Law Firm. And I did want to take a minute to thank Wade Boyette and Heath Nalos of BCN Law for allowing me the opportunity to come out here and talk today. But when you hire a financial advisor, specifically with my practice and with Ameriprise, you're actually getting access to the network of people that we deal with as well, from attorneys to real estate people to mortgage brokers and other different businesses that work in sync with one another.
And the one thing you've got to do is you sit down with your financial planner, and they take a look at your beneficiaries. They take a look at a lot of the things that you've already got done. But most importantly, and I know that Wes does this, once it comes to him giving you the advice, there's some legal forms that have to be filled out. The people in the financial planning community are not licensed to do that. Lawyers are. So you've got that good partnership going there.
We do. And I'm very fortunate to have that. And I would say that estate planning is a key in financial planning. When we go back to our confident retirement approach, obviously there is the leaving a legacy aspect of it. And that's important to so many listeners out there. You know, what do you want to leave behind? And it's not always charity. You know, for those that have that type of wealth that can establish foundations in their own name or even a library at a college campus,
wow,
you know, that is one thing. However, for the most part, it is, how do I leave this behind to my kids? What's the most tax-efficient way to do it from a standpoint? Is there a way to likely disinherit the IRS?
That'd be nice.
From this. But it goes into each one of them. For example, one of our other cornerstones in preparing for the unexpected is making sure that you've got all your right estate documents, and you touched a little bit on beneficiaries as well. It fascinates me to this day how many people that I do encounter on a regular basis, monthly if not weekly, that have outdated beneficiaries. Maybe they're parents that are deceased. Maybe they're ex-spouses. We find a lot of that still listed on there. And that's one of the key components is changing that and making sure that people have everything set up for the goals that they want.
They have been accumulating everything from life insurance they may have bought in their 20s.
Sure.
They've been accumulating things along the way. Pensions don't seem to be much of a factor anymore, but the 401k does.
Sure.
And then you got the IRAs and you got all this kind of stuff. Do you sit down with a couple when they first come in or an individual and say, let's do an inventory? You probably have things you don't know you have.
Oh, absolutely. I would say one of the key components to comprehensive planning is taking that inventory or a data gathering, and it can go by so many different names, but it really is. And as a general rule, it's kind of done maybe at the second meeting, depending on how you've come to pass. But it really is finding out, what do you have? And there's a lot of little trigger questions that I'll ask that maybe people think, I do have that. As it turns out, I did have a 401k 25 years ago in a different state. I have no idea whatever happened to it. Well, it's likely still there, and we can discuss rollover options and what's going to be the best thing for you to do with that.
Do you find it amazing that in this country, as advanced as we are, and as much as we depend on education, this is one of my biggest bugaboos about our education system. We start at kindergarten.
Sure.
We go all the way through high school, then we go to college, and some beyond college,
sure,
to learn how to make money. However, we don't get any education at all. There's no TV shows about it. There's some of our radio shows that we do. But that's the only place that we've got as an outlet to teach us that money isn't something just to be made and saved. Money is to go to work for us.
Well, absolutely. And I've told clients for years, there are two ways that you can make money in this country. And way number one is to go work for money. And way number two is to have money work for you. And ultimately, the goal is to get from step one to step two.
I remember on the old Bill Cosby show, one of the little kids was asking their mom, and this was the Cosby show where he played the doctor. And one of the kids, I think it was Theo, or he said, "Are we rich?" And the mother said, "No, we're not." She said, "There's a difference. When you're not rich, you work for your money. When you're rich, your money is working and paying you."
Oh, absolutely, Rob. And I think there's a lot.
So we all could be rich if we use you guys.
Well, I absolutely. I'd love to say that.
But put the money to work for you. The other thing that I find, and I'm sure you guys discuss this all the time among yourselves and with your clients, is we somehow have become a society, we still are, even with equal rights and equal participation and women making as much as they do, we're still a traditional one party of the family handles the money. That is crazy. Yes. So as you're getting toward retirement, do you find that either the wife or the husband has no earthly idea of what happens on the financial page?
Many times that is sadly the case. And it happens in younger couples, it happens in older couples, and it's not always the way you'd think it would go. Just in every household, I think we've pretty much figured out somebody has to hold the purse strings. Somebody has to know what's going on. I'll give you a great, in my own house, I joke that I manage money for several hundred people, but Kim runs our house, and that's easier that way. It's better for everybody for that to go on. But the reality is part of our process when we talk about, again, back to the confident retirement approach and preparing for the unexpected. It's okay to have one person run the house. In fact, it's likely better. Two hands in the cookie jar lead to many mistakes. However, that other person needs to know how to access everything, from online passwords, as simple as that may be, who to call in the event. And a lot of times you develop through the relationships, even though the majority of my clients are couples, you will find that you will communicate more with one individual versus another. And that's just the way it goes.
I would think with technology that is actually more complicated now for the non-informed spouse. Because in the old days, when you were first getting into this, if John died, the financial planner, the lawyers, the banker would all say, well, Mary, let's just watch the mail for the next 90 days.
Sure.
And you're going to get statements, and what you miss, we'll get at the end of the year, before January 31st. That's not enough time for us to fix it, but at least we'll know where we are. But now with everything online, you mentioned passwords. Does the wife and the husband know where all the passwords are? No.
I'm going to agree with you on that, Rob. They don't. It's funny because everything we do anymore has passwords. From just unlocking your phone to send a text messages to the 4 and 5 different email accounts that everybody has, to the bank, to their Ameriprise accounts, to this, to that, to Facebook even. There are passwords, and the likelihood of knowing all of them, if you're not the one running it, is very difficult.
Yeah. We're going to take a break. When we come back, the confident retirement approach is a pyramid on this handout that Wes brings to us today. This is Law 2020 with the BCN Law Firm, giving their time today to help you think about your retirement, to think about your financial situation, and we'll take your calls at 855-297-9696, 855-297-9696. You could text Wes today at 21232. Our special guest is Wesley Reed. I call him Wes, and he is with Ameriprise Financial. We will be back. We'll give his contact information, too, when we come back right after news, traffic, and weather on News 96.5. Hey, we're back. We want to thank Laurel for running a very, very good board today. We got Dave Wall in the newsroom. Charnel Wright's in the newsroom. We've got it fully stocked. There is going to be a press conference coming up about that rocket that exploded that had launched from the Cape about 1 minute earlier. So we will be going out to the Kennedy Space Center, Cape Canaveral, for that coming up. But right now, we have about 5 minutes before news, traffic, and weather and a possible news conference sometime in the next half hour. This is Law 2020, brought to you by your friends at the offices of the BCN Law Firm. That's right, BCN. That stands for Boyette, Cummins, and Nalos. You can always call them 855 Law 2020. That's 855. Know your attorneys, know your options. 855 Law 2020. And if you're saying law, how do I put that on my phone? How about 529-529? There's 11 associates right there ready to help you. They'll come to their offices in Winter Park, Claremont, Lakeland, the Villages, and if you're homebound, they'll come and see you there. But no matter what kind of law you need, there's somebody there. So why don't you establish a great relationship with an attorney now rather than at the last minute when you're scrambling, okay? They gave of their time today to an associate, a professional associate of theirs, and that is Wes Reed. You've heard him on here before, from Ameriprise Financial. And today we're taking your phone calls if you want to call in at 855-297-9696, 855-297-9696. Text us at 21232. And I'm sitting here looking at the confident retirement approach, and there's a pyramid. What makes up that pyramid?
Well, the pyramid, I guess you could probably compare it to the food group's pyramid on that, using the base of the pyramid to cover your essentials throughout retirement, and things like your Social Security, your pension, what's going to be your guaranteed money through retirement? What do we know? It also falls into what are going to be our guaranteed expenses, whether it be a rent or a mortgage or taxes, the light bill, the cable bill, all of that type of stuff. And as we move up, we have insuring your lifestyle. And what I find for so many clients, that really becomes the most important one on there for them personally. And that is, I still want to go to the movies. I want to go out to dinner. I want to travel. I want to do all this. How do we do that along the way as we're doing this? And
so that's insure, E-N, not I-N.
Correct. But I'll what a perfect segue, Rob. I'll go into that I-N, insure, for the next one, for preparing for the unexpected. And yes, there's a huge insurance component to that. And what we're finding, especially now, with a lot of recent statistics regarding long-term or extended care, in a somewhat brass fashion, I've said before that people just don't die today. There is typically somewhat of a digression. There is health issues. There is this. And they're finding, especially as the baby boomers age, that more and more need for some type of long-term care long-term extended care planning. Obviously, insurance is the best way to leverage those assets, but not always possible. There is, like I said, there is the insurance component, and one has to get it.
And, of course, I imagine that you want to start planning for that earlier rather than later.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
like anything else, it's the equivalent of getting the home equity line after the roof blows off. It's a little tricky. After mom or dad checks into the nursing home, it's too late to buy the long-term care.
How come we wait until our late 50s and early 60s to say, gee, Wes, I guess I could use some of that financial planning stuff because, God, I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. And it usually is tomorrow.
Yes, well, and as they say sometimes, too, tomorrow never comes. It is... I think that's big when it becomes real. As people start staring down the barrel of retirement, there is that reality. And most of us, to a degree, from 25 to 45, spend a little bit of life in a bit of a euphoric haze. And there's so much of other life going on, too. There's raising families. There's paying a mortgage. There's building careers, whether it be a practice or a job or whatever. There's so much else going on. And I think as people, we are all somewhat innately programmed to believe that, one, we're probably going to live forever, and two, nothing bad's ever going to happen to me. I'm sure it'll happen to the guy down the street, but not to me.
And I guess I'm 62, so I guess I'm kind of the end of a generation that saw their parents not have to worry about this, or their grandparents, because everybody just got the gold watch at 65, 66, and had a pension.
Sure.
And just picked out a fishing rod and went down to the lake, and that was it. But there are no pensions for our generation. That's over.
No, and you're seeing a whole new retirement. There's so many nuances to the baby boomer generation. The biggest one being it is the first generation in history that has decided not to accept aging.
Yep. All right, we're going to take a break right there. Here's the phone number if you want to call the show. 855-297-9696. 855-297-9696. When we get back, Wes is going to give his contact information. Give him a call. See if there's a relationship right there. We'll be back. Law 2020 brought to you by the BCN Law Firm. 855-LAW 2020. We'll be back. Hey, we're back. Yes, indeed. Our special guest today on Law 2020 is Wes Reed from Ameriprise Financial. And again, this is Law 2020. If you need an attorney, maybe you should get that established first. Okay, first thing in the morning, pick up the phone, call 855-LAW 2020. That's Know Your Attorney, Know Your Options, 855-529-2020, okay? The BCN Law Firm, longtime Central Florida firm, Boyette, Cummins, and Nalos. Boyette, Cummins, and Nalos. They really are community-oriented, as is Wes and Ameriprise Financial. We'll get to that in a minute. But right now, tell us how people can get a hold of you and start their relationship.
Well, I would say the easiest way would be to call into the office, and that's at 352-394-8453. Again, 352-394-8453. Always leave a message, and either myself or some member of my staff will get back to you inside of 48 hours on that. We can always be searched on Facebook. That's facebook.com/Wesley C. Reed, CRPC. Just type in a search for Wesley C. Reed. I'll pop up. Go ahead and like that page. You can contact me through there. And there's always email. That's Wesley, WESLEY.x.reed @AMPF. That's A as in Apple, M as in Mary, P as in Peter, F as in Frank.com.
And let me go over, or let me have you go over, all the services you all provide, because there may be people out there that are unfamiliar, I can't imagine why, with Ameriprise, but the things that you specialize in doing and for our audience.
Sure, absolutely. We specialize in comprehensive financial planning. And what that basically means is we're going to take a look at everything. We're going to do a diagnostic approach and really get down and funnel through what we're looking at, from IRA rollovers to disability and life insurance to non-qualified investments to investment-grade life insurance, from annuities to retirement accounts, group work plans. And we've got a fairly new software program known as Total View, which really allows us to get, as advisors, to get the bigger picture, as well as clients as well. And it has real-time updates to where their 401k plans can be entered into this, and they can see everything, including their Ameriprise accounts, on one screen.
Wow.
It is fantastic, Rob.
That's
It is a
incredible.
game changer.
You know what concerns me right now? I've been doing so many years. I've been 41 years on the radio, most of those news talk.
Sure.
And been getting to know a lot of financial planners, a lot of lawyers. And all of a sudden now, I'm very concerned about something. Maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. You're the professional, you tell me. I'm very concerned about those people who've always thought they can do it themselves, but now they could get in even further messes by having these robo websites.
Oh, absolutely.
Come on to our website. You don't have to worry about financial planning. You just put your numbers in. We're going to figure it out for you. Are you kidding me?
Well, sadly, it's not a joke, and people do that. The problem is, and here's where hiring the outside advisor comes into play. When it's your own money, you tend to make emotional decisions about it.
Yeah.
And the idea of having someone like me or an Ameriprise advisor is really to take the emotion away from it. There are some highly educated clients that I have that, of course, would have the intellectual ability to do it. However, no matter how smart they may be, it is when it comes down to, well, that's my money, the decision-making process becomes totally different. And I think that's true with anything. All of us know what we should do. Yet doing what you should and doing what you want become two different conversations.
Well, I can just imagine somebody being very successful in business. Maybe they're the best restaurant creator in the world.
Sure.
And we have some of those in our town right
Oh,
here.
we do. We absolutely do.
But do they know all of the funds, all of the tax laws, all of the investment laws, all of the things that are changing weekly?
Sure.
They're too busy changing menus.
Of course, and that's where they need to specialize. Now, I'm not going to say that I personally know every single tax law and every single fund that's available out there, but what I do know is that we have a giant building in downtown Minneapolis full of people that we have access to. So the company can answer any question.
And I can imagine you're right here in Central Florida, and a couple will sit down with you, and they'll bring up a scenario. You've already seen that scenario
Sure, if
time
not
and
twice,
time
sure.
again, and you said, well, I'm not going to give you the names, but let's call them Joe and Sally.
Sure.
And Joe and Sally came to see me, and we went through some of their accounts, and we found out that when we asked about the beneficiaries on their life insurance, it was Joe and Mary.
Oh, absolutely. It is quite common. A lot of times, even with work plans, that after a divorce, that people get, they get caught up in the turmoil, caught up in everything that else that happened. And several years go by, but they never bother to change that beneficiary from the ex-spouse. And again, and we were talking offline here, it's very common in the villages and places like that, just due to the age demographic, that people still have deceased spouses listed as beneficiaries to their IRAs, to their old rollovers, to their life insurance. And I've worked hand in hand with Wade and Heath at BCN in correcting some of these problems before. And I think they would even attest to my statement. It is so much easier for us to fix that before there's a problem than after.
Yeah, I would say. And of course, as you go through life, and especially here in Florida, in Central Florida, I live in the villages, and it's not exclusive to the villages, but it's prominent in Florida that when you come down here, you're probably on your second or third marriage.
Oh,
well,
sure.
if you are, there's a lot of dynamics that have to happen. If you come down to Florida and meet a woman or meet a man, and you are going to get married, well, there's an awful lot to think about with homestead and who gets what. And he's got his kids. You've got your kids.
Sure.
They were supposed to all be in the will. But now, what about that? Now that we're kind of a combined family and we're mixing assets and we're making money together on investments, things change, and you'd have to have a financial planner to help you sort through all that.
You absolutely do, Rob. Blended families are not only common, they're extremely common at different age brackets. And it can be tricky when you have blended families where perhaps, let's just say that the husband's first wife and now his kids are adults, but he marries a woman 15 to 20 years younger, not the most uncommon thing, and then she has kids. So now we have little kids, adult brothers and sisters. There can be a lot of family turmoil, and like we were talking earlier, poor planning when somebody passes away and tries to transfer assets does not bring families together. It rips them apart.
Now, there's a whole new dynamic.
Sure.
Since Thursday of last week.
There is.
There is going to be couples that, if they're smart, plan the wedding, that's fine, but also plan the business section of that unity. So you got John and John.
Absolutely.
And they've been living together, and they love each other, and they've got a family relationship that is now, as of Thursday or Friday, legal.
Absolutely. And, Rob, it's funny that you bring that up. Ameriprise has always been on the more progressive side and had a lot of special training around domestic partner relations. And, in fact, I have taken some of the advanced training and am somewhat specialized in domestic partner planning. And I was thinking about it on the drive over here today. I wonder if we're going to rename that, because that has always been, and now it's going to be just marriage.
Yeah.
And to a degree, it is going to make things easier for planning. There's also the possibility that it makes people less apprehensive to come and meet with a financial planner, knowing that, well, we're actually married now. It's going to function just like in any other couple. And it will make things easier from the planning process.
And without the financial planner, many of you out there listening to us right now are going to miss some things.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, you're going to miss maybe the fact that you now, as a married partner, have the right of homestead, have the right of survival in the house. You now should be named as co-owners of various things. This all changes as of last week, and once you get married, I always say this, once you get married, man, woman, woman, doesn't matter. It's a business. It's not just the emotion.
Oh, absolutely.
You have a business worth $300,000 or $400,000. You got to run it as a business.
Oh, you absolutely do. From the joint accounts, and I think what you're going to see a lot, and it was one of the arguments for it so much, is in spousal rights, especially in hospitals. And I stress to so many of my clients with their estate planning, and to go back to your point, it doesn't matter, man, woman, woman. You have to have the right documents in place.
There's where the BCN law firm also comes in.
Where they come in.
You should be seeing them first thing this week, setting an appointment, saying, what do we have to do legally besides just get the marriage license? Whole new world out there. And that is at you can call them this way too. 352-394-2103. Call the BCN law firm this week. Just go through the list, if nothing else. All right? Just go through the list. And then if there's something that needs to be done planning-wise, you go to Ameriprise Financial.
Absolutely.
Easy as that. But you can dial BCN law firm 352-394-2103. 855-LAW-2020. There are many documents that you can now sign for each other. The end of life, the medical surrogate, you name it, it can all be done now. Okay? And you can adopt the kids, and you can do all that sort of thing. So it's a whole new world today. So you got to plan for that. All right, and your contact information...
We'll do that after the break, but real quick, it is 352-394-8453, conveniently located in the BCN building in Claremont, Florida.
How cool is that? All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back. If you have any questions, give us a buzz. You can call us right now at 855-297-9696, 855-297-9696. We'll be back here on News 96.5. Yes, indeed, right here. This is called Law 2020. That's right. You can see these shows archived on YouTube. Just go to the YouTube channel and look up BCN Law Channel. Isn't that cool? BCN Law Channel. You can watch all the shows, and they're very, very informative. You really need to watch those because about every area of the law is covered over a 52-week span. We cover an awful lot of stuff. BCN Law Firm is Boyette, Cummins, and Nalos. You can get a hold of them at 855-LAW-2020. That's 855-529-2020. Offices, get this, Winter Park, Claremont, Lakeland, the Villages, a brand new office there, and in Sebring, they've got a satellite office. And you're right there in the Claremont building?
I am, Rob. We are located on the second floor of the BCN building, and that is 1635 East Highway 50, Suite 202, Claremont, Florida, 34711.
The other thing that I notice is you're a local office, so you know the lay of the land, you know the territory, you know the financing in Florida.
Sure.
You know what all's going on here. But you're plugged into an international company. That says strength, vitality, and expertise to me.
Yes. Ameriprise is, for example, we are the nation's leader in financial planning with over 2 million individual business and institutional clients, approximately 10,000 of us nationwide as advisors, most of us located in local communities, being a part of the community. And Rob, I'd mentioned to you that just last Friday, well, not this past, but the Friday before, on June 19th, we participated in the Ameriprise Financial National Day of Service, where myself, as well as a group of volunteers that are the clients and friends and other members of the community, got together and, as part of a No Kid Hungry and Feeding America campaign, volunteered at the Boys and Girls Club right there in South Lake County, and participated in the Kids Cafe program of handing out lunches, and spent the afternoon with them trying to make a difference.
Had to learn a lot about the community there, but you guys are so plugged into the community, so is BCN.
Sure.
There's very little that goes on that you guys aren't involved with, but to actually get out there and serve the food, talk to the families, see the kids, I mean, that's major.
It was, and I think it was a moving experience, and they have something that I think touched everybody, and it was called the Share Table. And what that was, these kids, they get their lunches, and you know, sadly enough, you can figure out some of these kids, their only meals that they get are going to be at that Boys and Girls Club. And some of them bring their lunch. There's all kinds of different kids there. But if a kid doesn't want a particular item or what have you, they can put it on the Share Table. And for the kids that are hungrier, there's no questions. They can go up and take as much food as they want off of the Share Table. And it was moving to see that actually play out.
Wow. Is that something that is once a year, twice a year? How do people get involved in that?
Well, you get involved in that. Ameriprise does it now twice a year. We've been doing it for multiple years, and historically it has been in November. But this past year, from a company perspective, they, with the success of it nationwide, decided to institute a second one of these and encourage local advisors and clients and community members to get involved. And it's kind of like my T-shirt that I have on today was given out to all the participants, and you can see that on Facebook. All our pictures are up, as well as my personal website, and that's if you go to AmeripriseAdvisors.com with a /WESLEY.x.read. You could pull up there. We put the photo album up this past week of just some of the volunteers out there.
Very good. Wes Reed is with us from Ameriprise Financial. One thing that we have in Florida is a lot of clubs, groups, and organizations, and some person who usually misses a meeting is assigned to be the activities chairman and the events chairman. Can they call you and have you come and speak at some of their club meetings?
They can, and some of them do. As a matter of fact, I really enjoy it. One of my hobbies and passions is public speaking, and I'll be emceeing the Red, White, and Boom. That's the 4th of July party out in Claremont.
Oh my gosh!
On the waterfront. So that looks to be a fun day. That's coming up this coming Saturday.
Yeah, man.
We're halfway through the year. But absolutely, we like to speak, whether it's a for-profit or a non-profit. I can speak to employees. We can speak to organizations from various civic groups to come out and just talk. We have multiple presentations, and I can do them with and without PowerPoints, and I do prefer them without. I think a lot of times when you get the right group, it's nice to just talk, and I think that's what we've heard the most feedback is that it's approachable.
You know, you mentioned something I never thought of before. If you got a company, folks, and you got 20, 30, 40, 50 employees, what a great deal to have a little function for them just to talk about retirement with you.
Oh, sure. And the nice
thing is,
idea. It takes all the pressure off their HR people that are not licensed to dispense advice, where I can, and we can talk openly.
All right, contact information.
One more time, 352-394-8453. You can search for me on Facebook and on the web. That is Wesley C. Reed, 352-394-8453.
The BCN Law Firm. There you go. Give them a call this week, 855-LAW-2020. Know your attorneys, know your options, 855-529-2020. Want to thank Wade Boyette for setting up today's show. Thank you so much, Wade. You're a buddy, and we will all talk to you later. We continue to ask the experts on News 96.5.